new poll shows 60% disapproval of Trump, and this is just ahead of his State of the Union address.
That was Fox News reporting on the fact that he's at 60% disapproval. And you know that the polling has gotten bad and stayed bad for a long time, when even Fox News has to acknowledge it and maybe feels a little bit defensive in that their polling has regularly, for a long time, showed that Donald Trump is not popular, and he keeps attacking them for it. So that's pretty funny too. Now, we do a lot of this reporting on the polls, but today is a special day, of course. Today is the State of the Union, and he might be like recordly breaking unpopular for the State of the Union, which means that the job in front of him is even bigger than it is for most presidents. Now, we're gonna get back into the numbers in just a little bit. Harry Anton is gonna tell us how it's down in the coral fields, it's down with the fishies, down with the clams and all that. But first, let's turn to Trump, who does not like bad polls and likes acknowledging bad polls even less. But again, it's gotten so bad that even he might have to face the music. Take a look.
It just amazes me that there's not more support out there. It's just, we actually have a silent support. I think it's silent. I had to go through, and I still do, fake stories, fake polls. I had polls for the election that showed I was going to get swamped, and I won in a landslide. They were fake polls because polls are tough. When you get a fake poll, I get them today. I saw one today that I'm at 40%. 40%. I'm not at 40%. I'm at much higher than that. I mean, I'd love to run against anybody. The real polls say you kill everybody. It wouldn't even be close.
Yeah, the real polls, are they in your pocket, or are they behind you? I don't see them. I'm on the internet and I don't seem to have access to them. So he's sad to see that he's at 40%. He's not at 40%. We just showed you the poll. He's at 39%. But I love the back and forth where he's like, you want to see more support, but I am supported. In fact, the polls are fake. It's really hard when you get a fake poll. I'm not actually sad. I'm not actually depressed. But this is how bad it's been. Look, if you just had a week or two where he was down, he can ignore that. He doesn't pay attention. He doesn't do self-analysis and all that. But what you just saw right there is probably the most acknowledgement you're ever gonna get from him. Not just that he's saying it, I don't particularly care about that, but that he sees it. He does see it. He was depressed right there. He feels bad about how bad he's doing. And that's a good thing on many levels. I want him to feel bad in pretty much every case. But right there, he's doing bad. And he's lying too. He's not just lying about the polls he's got right now, continually rewriting history of what happened in 2024, and unnecessarily so. He won. He got what he wanted, but the polls were not showing him losing in a landslide. And then, it turns out they were fake. The New York Times, the day of, had Harris up by 1 point, very well within the margin of error. And the similar story happened in 2016. People love to nobody wants the polls, I guess, to be accurate. So they continually love to get across this idea that, they really missed it. No, they didn't miss it. And you didn't win in the end by a landslide. You didn't even get 50% of the vote. Yeah. When you filter the vote that you did get, the 49.5% or whatever, through all of these arcane constitutional constructs, which are designed to make a minority of the vote capable of electing a leader, yeah, you did well in the Electoral College. That's not actually, first of all, it wasn't even an Electoral College landslide, and it damn sure wasn't a popular vote landslide when you couldn't even get half the vote. And so, that's the truth of the polls back then, the polls right now. But let's see a little bit more of how badly he's doing on the eve of the State of the Union.
I said record was the name of the game when it came to this segment, right? Talking about the lowest Trump has ever been going into the State of the Union, the lowest that any president has been this century going into a State of the Union at this point in their presidency. It is also the weakest that Donald Trump has ever been with independents. Look at this Trump. We've been talking about it the past few months. At this point, a year ago, Donald Trump was at minus 13 points. Look at this. minus 47 points among independents, the lowest Donald Trump has ever been in either of his 2 terms as president with independents. That is driving these numbers. When you're 47 points underwater with independents, that's the name of the game. You can't be above water overall, and that's why Donald Trump is near record lows overall and the lowest he's ever been going into a State of the Union address.
Quite a message on the eve of this big moment. Thank you, Harry.
Thank you.
John?
Those numbers with independents just eye-popping there.
Yeah, it's so bad that in that little toss there, he didn't even want to move on and talk about the TSA. He had to comment on it too. That's how bad it is. He was told by Harry Enton to look at this drop. And he looked. We all did. And we liked what we saw. So negative 47 is, I mean, that's really bad. Like, that's even, like, for once, a poll of Trump's approval, I'm like, I think that's pretty good. I think you hit him pretty hard at this point. I'm usually, even when it's in our direction, I'm unsatisfied. But in this case, I feel pretty good. So the comparison to him at the comparison to other presidents at the same point in their second term that's just devastating. For context, a lot of you might be on the younger side. You might not have been paying attention to politics for that long. But when George W. Bush was at this point in his second term, we'd already gone through his whole first term. We already had Iraq. We'd been in it for a few years at this point. It's not necessarily going well. Again, remember, we were supposed to have won in 2 weeks, and it's just dragging on and on and on. And I mean, we're not yet at the financial collapse. We're not yet. No, I think, were we at Hurricane Katrina at that point? We might not have been. So there was still a lot more bad stuff to come. But it's not like he'd accomplished a lot. He did the tax cuts. That wasn't helping regular people. And he was at like negative 11 right there. Donald Trump doing far, far worse, and deservedly so. He's a much worse president, aggressively offensive, terrible on the substance, doesn't seem to like our country, most of the people that live in it, and is actively gunning down citizens in the street. And I say all this not just to remind you of why he's doing poorly, but that is now the backdrop of this State of the Union. And it means that the job set before him is even larger than it was for Obama or George W. Bush at this point. We're going into a midterm year, a year that's looking like it's gonna be really bad for the president's party. The president now seems to get that, even if he won't really acknowledge it. And so he needs to either reassure people that things are going well, which is impossible because they're not, or distract away from all the bad stuff that's happening, which I don't think is super likely because he's already been trying that literally every day, and he doesn't seem to have that, I don't know, that ability to manipulate the narrative anymore. The other thing, I guess, is to make promises. Throw stuff out there that either you might do or much more likely you won't. And we can expect quite a bit of that.
With the cost of everything going up, here at TYT, we're always trying to help you guys out and save you some money. Your cell phone bill is the last place you should be getting ripped off. But if you're with Verizon or AT&T, chances are you're way overpaying for the plan you're on. That's why TYT is teaming up with Noble Mobile, the only cell phone plan that pays you to use your phone less. With their Noble plan, get unlimited data for only $50 a month. But the real game changer is the cash back you get for your unused data. The less data you use, the more cash back you get. It's a win-win. Stop letting big wireless rip you off. Choose a company that aligns with your values and isn't trying to milk you for every last cent. And by switching to Noble, you're directly supporting TYT in our mission of bringing you honest, independent news. So give Noble a try and make the switch today. Scan the QR code on the screen now or visit go.tyt.com/plan. That's go.tyt.com/plan.
If you enjoyed that, then make sure that you never miss another video by subscribing. And if you want a little more, consider hitting the join button and becoming a member. So you're probably wondering, why would I do that? Well, when you do that, you get access to bonus content that I make every single week, and it's a lot of fun. You get custom emojis and more. If you join at tier 3, by the way, you even get access to a monthly member hangout with myself. And you'll get all that going forward, but you'll also unlock years of the back catalog that is literally 100 or more bonus clips and top 10 lists and debates and more. So what are you waiting for?